This is USA, America's all-entertainment network.
It's another explosive SEC matchup as LSU tangles with Tennessee. Dale Brown led LSU to the NCAA Final Four last year. This year, his faith will be in a pair of Wilsons. Academically ineligible most of last season, Nikita Wilson returns this year to bolster LSU's inside game. And Brown's other Wilson, the man with the hot hand so far this season, is LSU leading scorer Anthony Wilson. After a 12-16 86, head coach Don DeVoe is looking to turn Tennessee around. And to do that, he will summon the powers of the Wizard, 86 SEC scoring champ Tony White. The Bayou Bengals invade Knoxville as LSU battles Tennessee next on USA Sports. Tonight, USA's college basketball 87 brings us to Stokely Center in Knoxville. USA brings you the Tigers of LSU against the Volunteers of Tennessee. Good evening and welcome to our continuing coverage of the Southeastern Conference here on USA. For the home team, Tennessee, an outstanding road win at Vanderbilt. They're looking to a possible 3-0 if they can win this one tonight, and with Kentucky coming in here this weekend. And then you have the LSU Tigers, a shell of what the team it was a year ago, making the Final Four. The Bayou Bengals are 0-3 in Southeastern Conference play, and Bucky Waters, one of the reasons is the man who's not here, Ricky Blanton, with torn knee ligaments.
Well, he really indicates the problem. This is not a confident LSU team. They need Blanton's experience. It's a situation where they're on the road. This is their 6th road game, and they just have lost it. They're trying to put it together on the road. That's tough. Darryl Joe, for instance, is a junior college point guard, and he's starting for the first time for the Tigers at the point. Played a little point guard at JC, but that was not here at Tennessee against a tough man-for-man defense.
And he is not a true point guard, so ball handling could be a factor here on the road for LSU this evening. For Tennessee, Don DeVoe called it one of the best road wins in a long time when his team beat the Commodores over in Nashville. And, of course, you know all about the Wizard, Tony White. Joining him is a senior Fred Jenkins, an outstanding player himself.
Well, Jenkins makes it possible for Tony to be a marquee player. He's taking care of the ball. He's the spine of this club. He gets the assists. He gets the steals. He can score, too. He's only 6 points from 1,000. But more than that, it's a senior backcourt, a very smart backcourt. And I think this Tennessee team is going to surprise some folks. In fact, they already have in Nashville.
So Volunteers have already won one on the road. Now they're looking for one at home, and LSU needs a win right now in the conference race. The lineups are next. It's the Vols and the Tigers. Us on hand this evening. Tonight's SEC game is brought to you by Toyota. Looking out for you has made Toyota #1 in compact truck sales. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Volunteers with a record of 5-1 at home. LSU 3-3 on the road. The lineups will meet them now. Here's Haywood Harris, the sports information director here at Tennessee.
For tonight's Southeastern Conference basketball game between the Louisiana State University Tigers and the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. For LSU at forward, 6'6", a junior, number 30, Bernard Woodside. At forward, 6'8", a senior, number 41, Nikita Wilson. At center, 6'9", a junior, number 40. LSU is coached by Dale Brown. And now the starting lineup for Tennessee. At forward, 6'7", a sophomore, number 31, Dyron Nix. At forward, 6'5", a sophomore, number 44, Elvin Brown. At center, 6'11", a sophomore, number 50, Doug Roth. At guard, 6'2", a senior, number 11, Tony White. And at guard, 6'4", a senior, number 35, Fred Jenkins. Tennessee is coached by Don
DeVoe has been battling the flu for the last couple of days. Missed practice yesterday, got sick again today, but he's here for this one. It's the Volunteers of Tennessee and the Tigers of LSU. The tip-off is next. On the road, like they have been for quite a while. Tennessee at home, their first conference game here. And Bucky, there are the lineups.
There's Joe in the backcourt. That's a key matchup. Jenkins, as we know, is near career steals for the Volunteers. And Darryl Joe making his first start at the point guard spot.
The officials assigned tonight by the Southeastern Conference: James McDaniel, Wally Tanner, and Bob Bill from left to right. And we're set to go with the Volunteers in their home whites, trimmed in orange and blue, and the Tigers of LSU in their road purple. The Volunteers lead the all-time series that started back in the 30s. This is the 68th meeting, and it's 42 wins for the home team. And now we're underway. It is controlled by Tennessee and Jenkins. LSU opening up in a man-to-man. It's Tony White on the top. Now they drop back a little bit. We'll see some what they call freak defense tonight, Bucky, from LSU. Dale Brown really likes to change things up often and in a hurry. Quickly a steal there by Anthony Wilson. Down the court, Darryl Joe blew the layup. Tipped out of bounds by the Volunteers, and a young man playing point guard for the first time this year had a chance to get an early two, but the man you're looking at couldn't get the layup in.
It was hard to see what LSU was playing defensively that time. Tennessee didn't give them any movement at all, and they were stripped and gone.
Darryl Joe stepped right around his man, dropped it off, and a slam for Nikita Wilson. He's averaging 16 a game to lead the Tigers, and he's shooting an outstanding percentage on the year. Dale Brown 9-8 in his matchups over the years against Don DeVoe. And meanwhile, Coach DeVoe up Tennessee 7-10 overall against LSU. Alley-oop, backdoor. It won't drop. Getting it right back is Jenkins. He gets it, and he's fouled. A little bit of luck there for the senior out of Columbia, Tennessee. He has his first two with a chance for three.
Bittersweet. Perfect execution against the LSU defense. A blown layup. Watch his hustle award now. Tyron Nix gets a piece of it. Jenkins, as we know he does, comes back to the ball. He's lost a half a step as a result of that broken ankle, but he's a very smart player. When you have two senior guards like Jenkins and White, you got a pretty good basketball team. If Roth and Nix and the rest of them come along at all, Tennessee could be very, very tough.
Jenkins, a 75% free throw shooter, gets it down. It's 3-2 early. Darryl Joe dumping it off for Anthony Wilson. And the foul as Dyron Nix was reaching over the back of Nikita Wilson. Going to be tough for Dyron to deny Nikita the ball this evening. Tough defensive assignment.
Nikita especially quick at 6'8". Dyron also out of practice yesterday, as was Don DeVoe. Assistant coach Jack Fertig was running the club, and Dyron was in sweat clothes. And evidently they've had quite a siege with the flu bug here.
Left wing Nikita Wilson gets some penetration. That's Anthony Wilson with his first two. Anthony is out of Plain Dealing, Louisiana, averaging 15 a game. Only had 3 points at Ole Miss the other night. He and Jose Vargas basically did not show up for that game, and they were beaten on the road. Here's Woodside with a transition basket the other way. And he's averaging 15 a game in his last 4. And LSU playing very well defensively so far, opening up the 6-3 lead.
So far, not really enough motion, enough movement by Tennessee. Not really testing the defense. It's man for man now.
Tony White for Doug Roth.
Woodside at 6'6" on White will be a test for White. White plays bigger than 6'2", but a bigger man on him will force him out a little bit further to get that release off.
Elvin Brown and Fred Jenkins playing catch. Brown on the left wing against Anthony Wilson. Roth managed to control it for Tony White. There's the penetration and the shot. Tony White is averaging 24 points a game. He started the season number 7 in the all-time Tennessee charts. He's moving up quickly. He had 34 against the Tigers in this building a year ago.
Well, he had 49, as we've already pointed out just recently, and that night he went 1 for 8 before he got hot. So if he gets off to a good start, we could see the lights go out here.
Jose Vargas missing on the field goal attempt, and the loose ball picked up by Bernard Woodside. Vargas did not attempt a field goal against Ole Miss the other night. Only had 3 points in the game. Here's Nikita Wilson walking before he got the shot down.
And part of the irony of that Vargas stat is that he was just coming off recently off a super game at 33 against Florida. And how do you explain those inconsistencies? From 33 to 3 and not even taking a shot. Coaches go a little wacky under those circumstances.
Jose started the season as LSU's best rebounder. Lately, he has not been hitting the glass. Tony White for Jenkins. First time pass underneath. Roth to the hoop. That is goaltending against Nikita Wilson, and Roth, averaging 9 a game, has his first 2.
Well, he's coming off the game of his career. Nice little move here, coming from the weak side. Boy, the Tigers sure do go after that ball. Even with their injury problems, they have some excellent athletes. They can play run and leap with anybody.
Bernard Woodside failed to draw anything as he got the glass. And now Tennessee leading 7-6 with 4 straight points. Jenkins scored 3 earlier. He now needs just 3 to reach the 1,000 mark career plateau.
Elvin Brown was wide open with all the changing defenses that LSU does. Occasionally they just blow an assignment. That time Elvin Brown was right there for a layup, but they missed him.
Jenkins faking. White the same. Baseline right. Slapped away from behind. And a foul on Bernard Woodside.
Tony White, who plays a lot bigger than 6'2", gets a step on Woodside. Woodside now 6'6", the transfer from George Washington University. He got some ball and got some of the Wizards' head.
Tony White, an outstanding free throw shooter, 88%. He's out of Charlotte, 6'2" senior.
Last year he was basically the point guard as well, especially after Fred Jenkins broke his ankle with 12 games remaining. Now he's freed up on the wing. He's truly playing the off guard, and he can just be sensational on a good night.
The thing Don DeVoe likes about him is his versatility. He can score so many different ways. You'll see him hit from the outside, and tonight he's driven a couple of times well. On to Vargas. He misses on the slam. He was all alone at that end of the court and couldn't get it in the hoop. See if the Volunteers can take advantage. Another steal. Another man down court. Nikita Wilson won't miss.
If Nikita thought twice about the stuff, if they'd have missed 2 wide open jams in a row, this place might have disintegrated. There's a new building under construction about a quarter of a mile from here that's going to see 25,000. It's not ready.
Off the glass. Nice touch there for Elvin Brown, a 6'5" sophomore from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. His mother is tuned in on USA this evening.
It's the only time she can see her son play, when USA goes to the Virgin Islands. So, Mrs. Brown, your son's off to a good start.
Nikita Wilson for Woodside. There's a steal. Here comes Jenkins. Coast to coast. Slams it in. Fred Jenkins has 5. That's 999 career points here at Tennessee. And the Volunteers, after trailing 6-3, have outscored the Bengals 10-2.
Still straight man-for-man for the Volunteers. It's the only defense they really want to play, and the key is they're not that deep. They have to be careful of foul trouble.
Here's Nikita dumping it right wing, tipped away, and it's off the hands of Bernard Woodside. It'll belong to Tennessee, and the Tigers are disintegrating a little bit themselves here. Oliver Brown ready to check in. We're almost 5 minutes in. Tennessee coming from behind now, leading by 5.
Jose Vargas, known as an emotional and aggressive player, tries to take out his aggression here, catches iron very solidly. It's a tape measure shot right out in section D. Now he's at the high post, trying to play with a little finesse. No, it's intercepted and going. So the wake-up call has not been left for Jose Vargas, but when he shows up, he's capable of 33, as he did in Gainesville.
Fred Jenkins coast to coast. Jose takes a seat. In for him is Oliver Brown. Back to action. The Volunteers now with a chance to go up by 7. The next points from Jenkins will put him at or better than the 1,000 career point mark. Elvin Brown thought about it. Very patient, these Volunteers. Roth the high post, taken away, and here comes Daryl Joe, the point guard, for his first basket. Tennessee has given up the ball several times. LSU has not taken advantage every time, but they are playing some tough defense at that high post.
Well, turnovers are coming from the wrong men handling the ball. Roth with a throw away from the high post, as did Vargas.
There's Roth again looking around every which way, finding Tony White, who dumps it inside for Jenkins, taken away. Nikita Wilson with the loose ball, and Darrell Joe brings it up. Really, LSU hasn't had much chance to get into its offense. We should watch them here the next couple times down and see exactly what they're doing. Inside it goes, and it won't go for Oliver Brown, but there's Nikita Wilson with the offensive board.
Actually, the offense is very simple for LSU. They try to move those inside people. The outside people are pretty much stationary.
Oliver Brown went right by Doug Roth. He's averaging 6 a game, a senior from Baton Rouge University High School who goes 6'6". And now it's 13-12.
LSU continues to change up the defenses.
Baseline left to foul. That appeared to be a pass for Doug Roth that was an errant pass, yes. And luckily for Tennessee, Elvin Brown, coming in for the left wing, was able to grab it.
Roth really wanted to get it. He tried to catch that ball.
Oliver Brown on the foul. At the line is Elvin Brown, shooting 69% from the stripe. Played for the Virgin Islands national team. He has 3. As a freshman last year, he played 26 games at forward and guard. Had his best game in conference play with a dozen against the Crimson Tide, who, by the way, if you don't know, beat Kentucky last night, prompting Eddie Sutton to call Alabama the best team he's seen in the conference so far. But it's still very early.
It sure is.
That ended that long winning streak at home at Rupp Arena for the Wildcats. In from the right wing, Oliver Brown, after receiving the pass from Anthony Wilson, walking with it.
Looked like a very good give and go, but weak side defense that time. The support defense from Tennessee came over, sealed it. 15 seasons. This is his 15th at LSU, and he said he has seen 36 coaches come and go in the league.
Little short for Tony White. The rebound for Darrell Joe. Anthony Wilson controlling, shooting, missing. Woodside may have pushed off to get that offensive rebound. He was on the back of Elvin Brown. That'll be his second.
What? Is this just a little push or what? That's a West Hempstead, New York push. Schoolyard, give him a little nudge.
He did it while the ball was up on the iron. Well, hoping the official wouldn't be watching that soon. Here's Dyron Nix into the paint. Won't go, but Roth is there. He's hammered on his way up by Nikita Wilson. Very good offensive board by Roth.
He got the big start in Nashville with an 18-foot jumper, but watch him sky on this one. Not many people thought the big guy could go up that strong. Wearing those goggles, had an eye injury at 12 years of age, and really does not see at all on that right side. It has affected his depth perception, but mostly he doesn't see activity coming to him from the right. But he had a good fix on that rebound, I'll tell you that.
Roth from the line this year, only shooting 44%. 18 points and 13 boards in that game against Vanderbilt. 1 on the road by the Volunteers. He has 3 on the night. He's averaging 9. And Don DeVoe in his 9th year here with 162 wins at Tennessee.
Former assistant of Bobby Knight and coached the Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski at West Point.
Nikita Wilson won't go. Dyron Nix got a piece of it, and Roth picked up the loose ball. Tony White, 4 points so far on a field goal and 2 free throws.
So far, there hasn't been any real special defense on Tony White. They've been mixing it up, man, 2-3 match.
Jenkins rims out a three-pointer. Don DeVoe admits he really doesn't have a three-point shooter on this team. You'd think that Tony White might be one, but he doesn't consider Tony that long-range threat.
Amazing. The night he got 49 points, not one of them was a three-pointer.
Nikita Wilson got control, 14-footer, not much arc, but he line drived it right in. He has 6. He's averaging 16.
His shot is very flat.
Volunteers by a point. We're 8.5 minutes in. Dyron Nix receiving it and blows it badly. Didn't even draw iron. And here's a 2-on-1 with Anthony Wilson feeding for Woodside. Nobody can make a layup tonight. What's going on?
I don't know. It appears they're trying to keep both teams in the game. LSU especially ineffective at the end of the break. Fess Irwin, the fine point guard, perhaps the finest high school point guard in the country, on the bench for the first time, not starting. I can expect that we're going to see a lot of him. They're getting transition, LSU, and they're just not capitalizing on it.
They've missed 2 layups and a slam. That jumper by Jenkins hardly hit anything. And now another traveling violation against Nikita Wilson. And we have an official's timeout on the floor with 10:57 left. Tennessee by 1. And now for our local cable systems, these messages. It's not a pretty picture for the Tigers of LSU. Tennessee right up there if they can win tonight, with Kentucky coming in here this weekend. The Cats are 1-2.
Well, there's a reason for LSU being on the bottom. You look at who they've played. 3 of their first 4 games were on the road against the SEC. They've been Florida, and here at Tennessee, and at Mississippi, who is 6th in the league. So they have gotten the tougher teams, and they've gotten them on the road. Of course, that loss at home to Vandy, very difficult to explain. By the way, C.M. Newton is out of the hospital, and we wish him well. He was not with his team Saturday night when the Volunteers went to Nashville and beat them.
And of course, the Commodores, tough there in Nashville. They knocked off Indiana earlier this season. We're back to action here with 10:50 remaining. Tennessee by a point. Tigers at 50%. Tennessee almost. Roth finds a man open left side with the drive, and the basket is Elvin Brown, who has 5 points on the night.
Both teams with 5 turnovers at this point is indicative of the sloppy play.
Here's Nikita Wilson for Woodside.
See, the inside people move for LSU, but the outside basically doesn't.
Wilson rebounding the missed 3-pointer, gets 2 of his own and is fouled. On his back was Elvin Brown, and Nikita has a chance to reach 9 points if he can convert the free throw.
This is the first time that LSU has been to the line.
As a team, they shoot 65%. Nikita Wilson. Nikita Franciscus Wilson.
Let's get that right, Parker. We abound with Wilsons out there. We got to fill in the blanks. This game is dead. It's flat. The crowd is like a painting up there. They're not in this one.
Tony White from a long way away. That was about a 25-footer. LSU, Nikita Wilson almost walked again, got the touch around the glass, and he has double figures, the first in the game to reach that mark. He has 10, averaging 16. It's LSU by a point, 18-17. They now have outscored Tennessee 10-4. It was a Tennessee 10-2 run before that. And another turnover. Here's Daryl Joe, 2-on-2. Nothing much there. He was cut off nicely by Elvin Brown. 3-pointer. Bingo for Anthony Wilson. He has 5. He's shooting 43% from 3-point range.
Well, he's a terrific shooter when he's standing. You've got to get close to him and make him put it on the floor. Normally, the Tennessee defense will make you do that, but they're just not getting back, and they're not ready to play defense.
Attempted pass to Roth. A steal for Nikita Wilson. Good play from behind by Tony White, who not only saved a couple of points, but avoided the foul.
Tony White very quiet offensively. They've got to get him the ball, and he's got to get something generated. Look at the quickness of Nikita Wilson. Looks like Bambi on ice there, trying to get his feet together for a layup. He can fly for a big man.
And Tony caught up with him. Anthony Wilson, Woodside for Nikita, tried to dump it underneath. Darren Nix rejected that, gets a piece of the rebound, and it'll belong to who? LSU.
Don DeVoe trying to psych his troops. So far, LSU just out hustling them.
Don DeVoe with that 62% winning mark. He was very pleased by that win at Vanderbilt, but he said, hey, these people around here talking about 3-0, forget about Kentucky. LSU is always dangerous. They're finding it out right now. A swish for Oliver Brown. He has 4, shooting 58% from the field. Now it's 23-17. Doug Roth. Nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Daryl Joe bouncing it through. Woodside to the glass, and he's fouled on the break. Looks like Tony White got him from behind. Tennessee doing a lot of standing around on offense. They're sending telegrams about their passes before they're attempting them.
Indeed they are, and I'm not so sure it's the changing defenses of LSU. They're just lethargic, both ends of the floor. That official should have been on the baseline waiting for him, not coasting down with him. That's why we have 3.
Woodside only 44% at the line, but he's been hot for the last 4 games. He's been averaging 15.
Woodside was one of the ones that got caught in that chicken pox problem that LSU had midway through the year when things really looked bleak for them. They got the Lazarus Recovery Award last year with that wonderful turnaround. You know, Dale Brown, Steve, he can come at you with a tale of woe about how things bad things are, and most of the time he's got 2 pages of facts to prove it. But somehow when they get cornered, they really play tough for him.
Like last year down the stretch.
To the Final Four.
24-17. That was after going only 9-9, tying for 5th in the league. Backcourt violation against the Volunteers, who are just having trouble completing the easiest of passes on offense.
Yeah, it looks like they may need to give that ball to Tony White to start with. He can't get it back from Fred Jenkins. Give LSU credit. They are playing very good defense.
That's a lot of turnovers for only 12 minutes into the game.
And you know, they're errors of omission. They're just flat. They're not errors that are caused by good activity and good motion.
Bernard Woodside has 5 as he hits from the outside. Now it's 26-17. Tennessee once led 13-8 in this game. They've been outscored 18-4. Tony White, baseline right, short, got his own rebound. Short again. Here come the Tigers with Woodside. Gets it back from Anthony Wilson and scores.
This is an LSU clinic. Excuse me, Bob. This is just an LSU clinic. Each player that LSU has put on White now has been tall. It's back to Woodside. It was McDonald a minute ago. I think the size is bothering him. More importantly, he can't get the ball back.
11-point lead. Here's Roth. Can't get the roll. Gerald Joe.
All of this without Fess Erlin, too.
That one is from the state line between Kentucky and Tennessee. Wow. Anthony Wilson has 8.
Anthony Wilson, one of 7 children. He doesn't hold that ball long, does he? He's been around that meal table when you got it and you did something with it or you lost it.
Here's Dyron Nix driving in. Offensive foul. And the nightmare continues for Tennessee. That's 2 on him. Dyron Nix is playing with the flu. He missed practice earlier this year. Don DeVoe needs this television timeout. His team is down by 14. 6:39 left in the first half. Nate Blackwell and company at work again on the road tonight in Lawrence. Number 8 ranked Temple over Kansas 46-44 in the second half. KU went into this week number 19 in the AP poll. Of course, we had the Wichita upset at Henry Leavitt the other night, and the Hawks having problems just before Big 8 conference play commences. Speaking of problems, Tennessee, Bucky, outscored in the last 5 minutes 23-4. They're not even getting that many field goal attempts.
They really aren't. They're standing, and the changing defenses is bothering the Volunteers. They just don't have anything going.
Harold Joe freelancing his way. Pretty poor choice there. Dyron Nix couldn't control it. Woodside driving with the finger roll. He has 9. It's a 25-4 LSU run now. And they've opened up a 16-point lead with 6:15 left first half.
And this crowd's getting angry.
Another steal, almost. They got it back. Tony White just can't hit from that spot. Underneath a follow basket, and a much-needed one by Elvin Brown, who has 7. Yes, the ball can find its way through the hoop.
Bit of a sarcastic cheer that time from this Tennessee crowd. LSU now running a 1-4 low set.
Anthony Wilson being watched by Tony White. Roth looks backdoors. The pass went over his head. There's Nikita Wilson missing in close. Who's going to get this one? Looks like Dyron Nix, who finally touches it for Doug Roth. And when the smoke clears, Nikita Wilson has his second foul.
Yeah, but this series really indicates what's been happening so far tonight. There's a lot more bounce and spring in the Tigers. They're just all over it.
Only the 6th team foul on Dale Brown's team, so not shooting yet. Jenkins, Tennessee's only fouled 4 times. Maybe they need to get a little more aggressive. Although most of their problems have started at the offensive end. Transition baskets for LSU. Roth for Jenkins.
Well, this is an improvement. At least they're keeping LSU on defense for a while.
Jenkins missing everything. Anthony Wilson, long on a long 3-pointer. Jenkins coming back the other way with White and Nix, dumps it down, and Dyer and Nix wakes everybody up with a big slam. He brought down the chandelier that time. It's 33-21. Byron Nix can really get off the floor. He's the #1 shot blocker, and now the Volunteer crowd is getting into it finally. They need to give their team a little help right now. Look at Nikita Wilson with the turnaround line drive. He has an even dozen.
Well, he's got 1 shot and 3 moves. He turns right, he fakes and turns right, or he fakes, turns right, fakes again, and then shoots. But you know he's going right. He just gets up there so high and so quick. There's not much you can do about it.
Jenkins. Roth. People all over him and reaching in to foul him. Appeared to be Oliver Brown. That would be #2 on #31.
He's the stopper. Well, has a piece, gets it smothered, commits the cardinal sin of putting it on the floor, and opened up a shot there for Oliver Brown, the Big O.
Doug Roth, 1 for 2 from the line so far. Nice rotation for the big man.
He's ambidextrous down in there close.
All right, that's 5 for him. Tennessee has scored its last 2 times down the floor. We'll see if they can work out of their doldrums with 4 minutes left before halftime. We'll get a closer look at the Wizard, Tony White, in our halftime feature this evening. Oliver Brown, nothing there for him.
Unless he gets it cranked up, that may be all you see of his great talent.
Anthony Wilson has 10. He's hit 2 field goals and 2 3-pointers. 14-point LSU lead. Jenkins for Nix. Byron took a step.
Hard to explain why they're doing that. It's just the man-for-man defense, nothing special. We'll
LSU
be right back.
by 14.
Are you ready to travel in style and get your credit card ready for this unbelievable purchase-at-home offer? Direct from Dante, manufacturer of quality luggage for over 40 years, it's the Designer Series Stoplight, a complete 7-piece set of durable, water and stain-resistant, 420 denier nylon, accented in woven fabric webbing, available in 4 colors. It's a
Knoxville, we'll spend a couple of minutes with last year's SEC scoring champion Tony White. William Bruce checks in with the Wall Street Report, and we'll have our Prudential first-half statistics. Some highlights, Bucky Waters' expert analysis on what's going on so far.
I'm going to have to manufacture, I believe, because we haven't had much action except the Tigers have just dominated.
KU has taken control momentarily. They're up by 5 in the second half at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. And in the Big Ten, the Wolverines at home against Ohio State, Hobson and company. And you're looking at Mark Griffin. In for the first time, a 6'8" sophomore from Union City, Tennessee. He's averaging 4 points a game. Trying to pump some life into this Volunteer offense.
He's in there for Nix. Probably still the effects of that flu. He did not look good at all yesterday.
And a steal. Alvin Brown taking that one away. His play has been pretty solid for Tennessee so far. Roth. And with the tip, the man we just talked about, Alvin Brown has 9. On Roth's miss, he was right there to tip it over and in. Tennessee now scoring its last 3 times down the floor.
Darryl Joe getting much more confidence back there at the point.
Actually, their last 4 times, counting Roth's free throws a few minutes ago. Oh, look at Woodside from way outside. He has a dozen on that three-pointer. He's shooting 43% from that range this year. It's 40-25.
He was a rookie of the year in the Atlantic 10 before he transferred to Baton Rouge. Good player. Got a big body like a Bernard King.
Roth out at that high post, takes the jumper. All right. He has 7.
He started the game in Nashville with about a 17-footer, and it proceeded to pump him and the Volunteers up to his career game. 18 points, 13 reads.
That was against the 7-footer Will Perdue of Vanderbilt. Don DeVoe really happy about that effort, but says Doug Roth needs to be a little more consistent game in, game out. That's the key for him.
I think he has a little more trouble with the 6'7" jumping jack than he does the true 7-footer.
Woodside driving, Anthony Wilson. Yes, and a foul. Looks like Doug Roth underneath.
Boy, LSU just methodical, just running their stuff, taking their shots, banging the offensive board, creating offense off their defense, and not appearing to do anything special.
Foul on Doug Roth under the basket. So LSU gets it out of bounds after hitting the basket. Woodside from Oliver Brown. Nikita Wilson for Anthony. And Tony White doing a little reaching.
Boy, you look at this club, you pointed out earlier, looking at this club now with the John Williams and Jovanovic and Blanton. There were high hopes in Baton Rouge before the injuries, but Blanton and Jovanovic both will be redshirted. They are juniors, so they will have 2 more years, and it will put them both in an Olympic cycle. Blanton aspiring to be an Olympian for the U.S., and Jovanovic, of course, wanting to play for his country, Yugoslavia. So it may turn out in the long run to have been a blessing, but I'm sure during this losing streak, Dale Brown has wished he's had him.
Tony White was fouled by Nikita Wilson, who takes a seat with 3 fouls. That's why you saw Ben McDonald come in. Tony White has 5.
Well, he was 1 for 8 in his big night when he got 49.
Against Florida State. The school record is 50.
So he's capable of starting sluggish and catching fire.
1:40 left. There's your score. LSU by 13. The biggest Tennessee lead was 5 early, but then the Tigers really took control.
LSU now getting cute with the ball, spreading out the defense. And in the turnover. And I just made the point that they were just running their stuff very methodically, efficient on both ends of the floor. And sometimes when you try to get cute like that, take them out of their pattern, it's not nearly as effective. It might be the smart thing to do clockwise and tactically, but when your team's playing well, sometimes it's better to just leave them be.
Tony White cut off by Oliver Brown. Here's Roth, high post. Tony looks down to make sure he's got the 3-pointer. How about that for poise? He has 9. Tony from 3-point range, 35% this year. And Tennessee needed that. They've got the lead back to 10 for LSU.
Going into a basic 4 corners here.
45 seconds remaining, 30 on the shot clock. Woodside gets it back from Oliver Brown.
Well, he's resting Vargas and Nikita Wilson on the bench at this time. So running some time off the clock has merit in that regard, but they're not looking too good doing it.
They haven't seen Jose since the first few minutes. Jose missed a slam and gave up a pass for 2 at the other end.
Watching time go by there. His eyes cast firmly on the clock.
Brett Jenkins called for the foul. Tennessee, that was only the 6th foul, so LSU not shooting yet. 34 seconds left in the half. Shot clock is off. And the Bengals would love to go into halftime leading by 12. Anthony Wilson wants a 13-point lead, and he's got it. 15 for him. His third three-pointer of the night. 15 seconds left. It's a 13-point game. Roth. Off the hands and out of bounds off Elvin Brown, and with 4 seconds left, LSU has a chance to make it 15 or more.
They're going to look for Anthony Wilson in that three-pointer.
Ben McDonald to throw it in. He's 3 for 3 from that range. Tony White steals. He has a chance. The three-pointer is short. And it'll be 45-32 at the half, as LSU did not execute the inbounds play very well. Tony White really could have given his team a lift there, but as it turns out, they may be lucky to be within 13. They warmed it up, and evidently we had a foul on that shot, so Tony will get to shoot a couple. The foul was on Ben McDonald. Big break here for Tennessee. They could be down just 11 at the half.
Dale Brown has not left his spot on the bench. He didn't get a technical all last year, and he's biting his tongue right now. But he will say.
Tony White, rather, has 11. And at the halfway mark here in Knoxville, it's LSU 45, Tennessee 34. We have a whole slew of halftime activities coming up for you momentarily. Welcome back. We're at halftime. Anthony Wilson has 15 for LSU. Tony White 11 for Tennessee. The Tigers lead at 45-34. And now, while we have a few moments, we'd like to send you back to New York and William Bruce with the late news from the world of business. Halftime on the campus of the University of Tennessee. The Tigers by 11 over the Volunteers. And coming up at halftime, a look at Tony White, the star, the wizard of Tennessee. 4 at the half at the home of the Volunteers here in Knoxville. They're 5-1 here, but they haven't played very well in the first half this evening. Welcome back, Bob Carpenter, along with Bucky Waters. Buck, it was a lethargic Tennessee team after an early 10-2 run offensively, and LSU made them pay. And if LSU hadn't missed a slam and a couple of layups, they would have had a 20-point lead.
You wonder why their record is as it is, playing this well in here on the road. Bernard Woodside, who is known to be a good offensive player, has done an excellent job on Tony White. But moreover, it's been team defense. Man for man, Tennessee just can't generate anything with their pressure, and LSU's playing almost a nonchalant, efficient game without any emotion. And Fess Irwin, the fine point guard we heard so much about, has yet to make an appearance. Dale Brown is very happy with the way things are going. He's not going to change much. Neither team has produced anything from its bench.
No need for that from LSU because their starters have played so well, I guess with the exception of Jose Vargas, who we didn't see much in the first half after some early problems. But when you got a guy like that who hasn't contributed and you're still up by 11 at the half, that's something nice to have on the bench.
Indeed, and you have to feel the way he was looking at that clock, kind of hungry. He's going to make the most of his minutes in the second half. Speaking
of hungry, there's a very hungry young man who plays basketball here at the University of Tennessee. It's been 10 years since a volunteer guard has led the SEC in scoring, but UT fans well appreciate the All-SEC guard, All-American honorable mention, who does bring back some memories of those times just a decade ago. In the late 70s, Grunfeld and King gave the Volunteers scoring punch and sent fear through the SEC. Now another Tennessee Flash is proving to be a scoring machine and sending impulses through the conference. Senior guard Tony White. He has been called an offensive demon. He can score every way possible. In one 4-game stretch, he poured in 138 points.
Tony White is a great basketball player, and in particular, he's a great offensive player. I've never coached anyone who can do a better job of head faking and driving the basketball and getting off a shot under extreme pressure than Tony does.
Tony got off to a slow start this season, but the recent surge has put notice the SEC scoring leader is back.
It just took me some time, to get the feel, of the new offense and everything. And now that I have the new feel, I'm just ready to go out there and play.
Recognition has come Tony's way, and even his coach admits an SEC championship will bring White All-American honors.
That kind of bothered me, but now I'm just relaxed. I'm into the game. I'm not worried about anything. Not even, all these honors or anything. I'm just out there, just to have a good time.
Tony is a marvel to watch, but with all his exploits, he knows the team needs to work cohesively for success. And with the adjustments in this year's offensive scheme, Tony and backcourt mate Fred Jenkins have to set the example.
I think that the team confidence level, from last year is way up. Everybody's playing hard and everything, and I think that the situation with, Fred and I, we're the only seniors, and, we're showing a great deal, leadership out there.
Playing alongside of Jenkins has been a plus in Tony's tour with the Volunteers. And if Tennessee should end up atop the SEC, these two will have been the spark and guidance in Coach DeVoe's 9th year at the helm of the Vols. And they need to be the spark and the guidance in the second half coming up, Bucky. Tony White had some involvement late in the first half offensively, but not a whole lot early when they were having problems.
Well, he was 1 for 8 in that 49-point explosion against Florida State, and then came back 15 for 21. With a Tony White, you're always in the basketball game. It's more than that for Tennessee. They've got to get some movement, they've got to get some action, and they got to do something with Nikita Wilson down low. Their defense, which is the pride of this team, just hasn't functioned.
One thing to consider as we look ahead to the second half, if it gets late and Tennessee trails, Don DeVoe really doesn't have that three-pointer to look for.
No, but Tony can get him in twos quick enough to bail you out.
Okay, the second half is coming up. We have more, though, at halftime. The Prudential halftime statistics highlights it's LSU by 11. The SEC not looking like it tonight, leading by 11 on the road here at Tennessee. The Volunteers have struggled. They've got a road back to get back even in this one. Bucky Waters has some of the first half highlights for us as we look back at the 45-34 lead.
We talked about this team not being confident. This is your Prudential offense. All 5 players here get a piece of the rock. And guess who finishes? Nikita Wilson, who went for 12 in the first half with his patented quick turnaround to the right and nails a frozen rope. Tennessee, which really couldn't get on track, gets a long rebound. Fred Jenkins out in front. The assist leader for the Volunteers looks around. It's really a secondary break. Dyron Nix sneaks down the middle. He had 2 points in the first half, and our alert crew got it because it was indeed an exclamation point.
Our first half statistics are brought to you by the Prudential, offering a full range of insurance and financial services. The shooting percentages are interesting because LSU has 8 more attempts than Tennessee. The Volunteers were shooting down around 35% for a while. Turnovers hurt them.
Very much so. And as we look too at the fact that LSU with this club has yet to lose when they have led at half and when they have been ahead on the boards. Both of these cases are in play tonight, obviously with a nice pad, 11-point pad at the half and a 1 rebound margin, but their defense has been good, and Woodside in particular has done an exceptional job on Tony White, in addition to scoring well himself with 12 points.
Anthony Wilson has 15, and he is 3 for 3 from 3-point range. Nikita Wilson, the only man in any kind of foul trouble. He sat down the last couple of minutes. Tennessee only has 1 man in double figures, Tony White, who got most of those late. And LSU has it from left to right as we get underway in the second half. Important first couple of minutes for the home team here, Buck.
It really is. I expect LSU to keep them on defense a little bit. Daryl Joe looking much more confident at the start of this half than he was at the beginning of the game. Yeah, they're just moving it around. That's good. Let everybody handle it. Get back on track. Tennessee's all jacked up to get out and go.
And Nikita Wilson starts it out. They took about 25 seconds off the clock, and Nikita got it down. He has 14.
Yeah, they got the pep talk still ringing in their ears, and they stay on defense for 25 seconds, and then Nikita nails it. That's about the best that LSU could hope for.
What a turnaround by Fred Jenkins, who tonight has eclipsed the 1,000-point mark in his Tennessee career. He only needed 6 going in, and now he's over Anthony Wilson.
Tennessee posting guards that time. Jenkins went right down in, posted up.
Oliver Brown dumps it out for Woodside, who had a good first half but draws nothing on that. And a foul underneath Anthony Wilson, who was trying to box out for the offensive board. But Jenkins now over the 1,000-point mark. He would have had a lot more had he not been felled by that ankle injury last year that knocked him out.
And he got it going for a loose ball against Mississippi State, which is indicative of his style of play. Limited talent, but as we pointed out, Tony White, the marquee player, the flash. Jenkins solid. Takes care of the ball. Good D with the steals. And they were 2-10 when he went down last year. Ruined the season for the Vols.
Fred was in the hospital after that ankle surgery last year, and the medication gave him some dangerous reactions. His temperature went up and down to very dangerous levels. He came out of it okay. Now he's back, and Dyron Nix's basket makes it a 9-point game.
I do believe Jenkins has lost a half a step.
Not on that one. That was instinct that paid off with that steal. And here come the Volunteers if somebody can put a fork in it. From the left side, Tony White. He has 14, and that quickly, it's a 6-point game, and Tennessee got the charge out of the locker room they were looking for.
DeVoe wants more pressure. He wants it extended. Dale Brown very wisely says, yep, let's take one here and let him think about it.
How quickly the winds of change blow in college basketball. LSU led by 11. Now it's down to 6. Only 2 minutes and 3 seconds into the second half.
Fred Jenkins continues his streak. He likes to get a steal in every game and is seldom disappointed. He creates the loose ball, and Elvin Brown scoops it up. He can't get a fork in it either. One dribble off the wristband, but Tony White has set up shop down there and goes for a trip. Not what you call a pretty transition, but it goes for 3.
There's our Monday night action. The Tigers at OU against Billy Tubbs, Chu Kennedy, and the Sooners. That's Monday night live on USA at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Pete Maravich will join us on the announced crew for that one. Looking forward to Pistol Pete. Wonder if he'll have his socks on.
I hope he's washed them.
Off the miss, Anthony Wilson can't get it to go, and Dyron Nix pulls it down.
Tennessee showing zone for the first time, a flat 3-2 with Elvin Brown at the top.
Nix with a 13-footer, too strong. Roth couldn't get the offensive board. Hustling Elvin Brown did momentarily, and it belongs to Tennessee off the hands of Darryl Joe. Whatever Don DeVoe had to say in the locker room got the attention of his Volunteers.
2-3 match now by the Tigers. Dale Brown keeps talking about the freak defense, and I think he has more people psyched out looking for things that aren't there.
Elvin Brown for Dyron Nix. He just didn't get his hand behind that shot. It kind of glanced off the side of his hand. And here come the Bayou Bengals. The other way, it won't go. It's too short there for Oliver Brown. And Tennessee is grabbing all the momentum right now. They're down by 6. They shave 5 off that halftime deficit, and just 2:03 coming back in.
No special defense on Tony White, and they paid for it.
How do you defense that? Looks like an offensive foul. The basket should count. It's Tony's second.
Is he quick or what? They hit him in the high post, which is a good move against that matchup. And he knifes through, and Academy Award goes for naught. He called the charge. I didn't think so.
According to the stat sheet, that is number 2 on Tony White. Anthony Wilson working against Jenkins, dumps it for Nikita Wilson, and when LSU needs a basket, they usually call for number 41. He has 16, which is his season average.
Jose Vargas remains on the pines over there. Did not get the nod in the second half. Dale Brown happy with the way his team was playing after he made that substitution.
But if Tennessee gets tough on the boards, I think we'll see Mr. Vargas. Brown trying to bounce past it, and then a foul after a steal by Anthony Wilson.
A frustration foul. Good pressure.
It'll be number 2 on Fred Jenkins. 35, the man to the left of your screen. Jose Vargas, no points. Missed a slam dunk on a fast break in that first half early. Darryl Joe operating not too efficiently. Nikita Wilson got the board. a collision with Elvin Brown, who gets the foul. They both took it in the nose.
That noise he thinks he hears, it sounds like a dice game in his mouth. May well be. Watch this. Bam.
Boom.
Oh. Makes your eyes water sitting over here.
We can't hear the bells, but they're there. Here's Oliver Brown. Nikita Wilson for Bernard Woodside. They dump it into Oliver, who'll go down the paint. Right side, rejected by Nix. And he may have been fouled by the other guy, Roth. We'll see who the foul is on. Nix came from nowhere to make the block, and he is the one that gets the foul.
Really? Well, from this angle, it went right over Roth. He was on like the 7th floor, and Nix went up to the 10th floor to get a big piece of it.
That's 3 on Nix, and now they have to bring Mark Griffin back in to replace Dyron. I'll tell you, Nix will have some impressive shot block statistics by the time he graduates here. He's only a sophomore.
Oh, a superb athlete. Really talented. One of those people that overlooked in high school. You didn't hear that much about him out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
We saw it coming last year as a freshman. In their last 13 games in conference play, number 2 in rebounds and in blocks was Dyron Nix. He averaged 7 a game as a freshman. This is Oliver Brown, who has 5 on the night now. He's a 6'6" senior from Baton Rouge.
No question they need Nix. 2 overtime games that Tennessee has lost, he had fouled out. They're awfully thin up front. Without him, they're just not very effective in the front court.
Dyron Nix getting some instruction as we reset with 15-10 remaining. LSU now gets the lead back to 8. And a turnover as Griffin dumped it down deep. Here's Anthony Wilson over Jenkins. Nice shot. Anthony has 17. He's averaging 15. And that's on the heels of a performance at Ole Miss when he only had 3 the entire night.
Woodside back on Anthony White underneath.
And reaching in was Darryl Joe. Well, we're seeing coaching, Bucky, here taking effect. Tennessee very effective out of the locker room. And then Dale Brown calling a well-timed timeout as Tennessee came roaring out, and his team's been in control ever since they talked about it.
Took it right back to 10. It's a box and 1 now.
Tony White, most often the victim of such defensive strategy. The tip by Roth wouldn't go. White kept it alive for him, but Roth can't drop it. The guard kept it alive for the big man who couldn't hit the close-in shot. At the other end, Griffin hustling down court, knocks it away from Nikita Wilson.
Good hustle that time from Mark Griffin. He at least has come into the game. Watch this now. Looks like all purple jerseys. Mark Griffin coming from nowhere. 6'8" from Union City, Tennessee.
6'8", 210. Doug Roth takes a seat at 6'11", 255, and Dyron Nix, 6'7", 205, checks back in. Roth may be a little winded after all that action at the offensive end. Get a breather here. And a 3-pointer for Anthony Wilson. He has 4 of those tonight. 20 points on the evening. His high on the season, 23.
Boy, he's been doing it at both ends of the floor.
Another errant pass by the Volunteers, and now we're experiencing deja vu back to the middle part of the first half. They came roaring out. Whatever momentum they grabbed has now been lost. Anthony Wilson inside for Oliver Brown over Griffin, who fouls him. Outstanding fundamental passing by LSU, getting the man open down the paint.
They are not playing with great emotion. They're just moving the ball, just playing basketball. And because of the ineptness so far of Tennessee, this crowd really hasn't generated a road atmosphere for the Tigers.
Griffin at 6'8", having a hard time matching up with the leaping Oliver Brown at only 6'6". Oliver has hit his last 3 from the stripe. This guy's really been doing the job on the boards when Jose Vargas doesn't. Over the last 5 games, 8 rebounds per outing. And he's led the team in rebounding the last 2 ball games in that streak. So when Jose doesn't show up, Oliver steps to the stage.
Well, he's led LSU in rebounding the last 2 games, and anything that he gives them offensively is a bonus. because his salary is paid on the defensive end of the floor. He's really put some great stops on some good offensive players.
He averages 6, he has 8, and now LSU by 15. They've added 9 points to that lead since Tennessee came roaring out of the locker room. Tony White's been quiet, makes some noise there, and he has 18.
White now going out of the backcourt, going almost to a high post situation to get the ball. He's too quick for Woodside, but getting the ball to him with the good pressure all the way around, that's another story.
Turnover.
5 seconds, closely guarded. Darryl Joe in his first start, and the point guard has gained lots of confidence. We have yet to see Fess Irwin.
13:15 remaining. LSU by 13, 58-45. They led at the half by 11, 45-34. Dyron Nix.
It's a straight 2-3 zone.
Jenkins off to the right. He missed it. Nix almost kept it alive, but Nikita Wilson had very good rebounding position. Had his body between Nix and the hoop.
Tennessee showed the 1-2-2 defense and got a turnover. Haven't gone back to it. They're now back to their man-for-man.
Anthony Wilson down deep for Nikita. Oh, look at Dyron. He was up near the shot clock with that one. He can really sky.
Tennessee's problem tonight defensively, it's almost been a batting practice defense. They just haven't been effective. Look at Tony White get up. He plays about 6'5", 6'6".
Ian Lockhart, a freshman forward for Tennessee, is set to check in. Baseline right for Oliver Brown, out on top to Woodside. Folks, you'll see a lot of the Tigers in the next week on USA. We've got them at Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City on Monday night, and then at Alabama a week from this evening. And now we'll get a look at Lockhart, a 6'7" freshman from the Bahamas. Nassau is where he hails from. We'll see who he replaces when we come back in a moment. LSU in control by 13 with 11:58 remaining. All 8 of those points for LSU coming from the 6'6" senior Oliver Brown. Bucky Waters.
Well, the Tennessee bench not producing anything is no surprise. It's a thin club. The only substitution, Mark Griffith, failed to score, and now they've gone to Lockhart, a freshman that they really wanted to redshirt. But it's really a phenomenal situation. Here's Fess Irwin with all the credentials. Doesn't even break the cellophane to get in here tonight. And it appears that Dale Brown is very happy with the club, the way it's playing. Look at there. The
Speaking of Coach Brown, big win for Larry,
boy,
huh?
And he has been really nervous.
67-64. Larry Brown's team wins it at home over number 8 Temple. Only the Owls' second loss of the year. KU, that may keep Kansas in the top 20. They win it in the AP poll. Number 19 lost to Wichita. Big win at home tonight. And we'll have the Jayhawks in about 12 days there against Norm Stewart's Missouri Tigers. That should be a good one.
Manning went for 17, but after having seen that team against Wichita State, as we did the other night, they got a lot of problems going on the road in the Big 8 with the likes of Missouri, Oklahoma, etc. They're not a confident team right now.
Darryl Joe on top. Oliver Brown, see you later. Not cutting toward the ball was Anthony Wilson. He cut out toward the corner. Turnover, and LSU is certainly giving Tennessee chances to get back into it. The Volunteers have got to take advantage. Into Dyron Nix from Tony White, looking for the shot. Too hard off the glass, got his own rebound underneath. He's stripped of it, out of bounds, no foul. It belongs to Tennessee. It is tough going in there.
John DeVoe didn't feel too good yesterday. He was out with a flu. I got the feeling he feels lots worse tonight.
When I visited with him around noon today, he was feeling fine. Then he went to lunch and got sick all over again. Okay, in time for the game. Elvin Brown from Jenkins to White. Tony finds the handle. Elvin, line drive for a three-pointer. The sophomore from the Virgin Islands has his first long-range one of the night. He has a dozen. He's only averaging 8. And a steal for Jenkins. Tony White. 4 in a row for the home team. Tony has 20. It's 58-50.
Look for an LSU timeout.
Woodside, cross court for Anthony Wilson. Time for the Tigers to keep their poise now.
Yes, if Darryl Joe starts to crack a little bit at the point guard spot, I bet Dale Brown wished he had put Fess Irwin in the first half just a little bit. It'd be tough to bring that freshman in here now after being sitting there all night, now come into a pressure situation.
And that was a rather unnecessary foul on Tony White, 35 feet from the basket, reaching in. He was going for the steal, but that's 3 on Tony. Now he's got to be careful out there on top. 10:20 remaining. The seesaw revolves around LSU big leads and Tennessee cutting the lead. And every time they get close, Nikita Wilson takes care of business. He has 18. His high on the year, 22. By the way, Nikita going in tonight needed 21 for 1,000 in his career. Now he's just 3 points away. Byron Nix having trouble getting him to drop, but not that time. He has 6, only 2 in the first half, and they need him. He's obviously a little winded out there, Bucky, playing with the flu. He looks tired.
Whenever Tennessee can score, they're trying to extend that defense. So far, Darryl Joe has handled it nicely. He did have a little difficulty with the run and jump. Fred Jenkins' size caused the turnover.
Tennessee staying right with LSU right now, but the big question is, can they sustain that? Jenkins on the steal. Nice pass for Tony White.
Guess who starts it? Watch Jenkins now with the hand. Gets a piece. Pulls it down. Starts the break. He reminds me of Don Chaney playing with the Boston Celtics. A guy that just came in the game and made things happen for you defensively.
Darryl Joe signaling to the official traveling. Official said, nope, the foul is on you. You're second. Tony White has 22 now. He's lining it up, and he goes to the line, possibly to make this a 5-point game.
And a guy you don't want to foul. A great free throw shooter.
That was an outstanding pass by Jenkins to White, and Tony made a pretty good reception on that one, kicking it high out of the air.
Well, they're your senior guards. They're supposed to bail you out on nights like this.
Woodside down deep. Oh, it won't go this time for Wilson, but there's Oliver Brown with a big follow shot. He has 10, all 10 of their bench points, and at the other end, the Wizard works some magic. 25 for Tony White.
They're not even looking at LSU's half-court defense now. The balls have finally started to get some transition. And boy, don't think Darryl Joe isn't watching where Fred Jenkins is when he's handling that ball.
Joe with a nice turnaround, but we had a foul, a 5-second call. Not a foul, but the violation. It was Tony White with defense on Darryl Joe.
Well, that's the inexperience, being the ball handling guard for the first time this year. That's his second 5-second violation. He thought he was making a good entry with the dribble, but the rules being what they are, it's a new ball game.
Tennessee making its move in the last 9 minutes, down by 5. You've got to be thinking Tony White. He is red hot with 14 points in less than 12 minutes. And look at that from the freshman, Ian Lockhart, from the Bahamas.
He got 60 in high school in one game.
Oh, the crowd really into it now here at Stokely. It's too short off Anthony Wilson. Out of bounds off the Volunteers. It belongs to Dale Brown's team as Don DeVoe likes what he sees now, talking to his assistants about it. His team's been very intense the last few minutes. Rather lethargic in the first half. Darryl Joe, Nikita Wilson lost the handle.
And that was respect for Dyron Nix, who came over to cover. Nikita took his eyes off the ball, and it became loose.
Jenkins too hard off the glass. Nix keeps it alive, but he may be called for the foul. Big call there. That's number 4 on the high jumping forward of Tennessee.
Here comes Roth. I expect he's going to give Nix a blow. There's Jenkins, too hard off the glass, gets lots of iron. Dyron Nix gives it one good effort. But when you're not feeling well, the stamina's a problem. That second and third effort is much more difficult.
And now the focus is on this man, the sophomore, Doug Roth. In the absence of Nix, he has to make it happen. Dyron sits down with 4 fouls, and at the other end, stepping to the free throw line is a guy who's been outstanding tonight, Nikita Wilson, who already has 18. He doesn't put much arc on his free throws either, does he?
Yeah, he's some athlete at 6'8". Leesville, Louisiana.
And Louisiana missed the basketball back in '83, meaning he was the best player in the state.
He's coming off a 22-point performance at Ole Miss, a 10-point loss for the Tigers.
Got them both. He has 20, and we have a timeout on the floor. 7:53 remaining. LSU leading by 5, but Tennessee hanging in there. And it's 64-59. Back with this.
Quickly inbounded the ball, and here is Baryshnikov with number 11. Tony White is airborne for at least 3 seconds, and he beat the LSU defense down the floor. They had enough people back there to defend him, but he just went into overdrive. 24 points. Boy, what a surge he made. We told you he can get him quick.
You know, and that rebounding is no fluke either. He averages 4 a game. You can see how that little guy can sky. 64-59, 7:45 remaining.
He's getting more of an opportunity to do that too, playing the off guard. He can get on that offensive board. Last year as a point guard for most of the year, he had to stay back for defensive balance.
There he is again, Tony White.
Tennessee having more success getting him the ball down in the paint area than they are as a true wing guard.
In the paint, Oliver Brown, nice move, and Roth got him on the way up. Oliver Brown, a dozen off the bench tonight.
Good bounce pass. Now watch Oliver. He just kind of leaves Roth. Roth was in excellent position if Brown had gone straight up, but the great athlete that he is, he just went vertical, then horizontal without coming back to the floor.
Big three-point play for the Bengals. Brown with 13. He's only averaging 6. It's a 6-point LSU lead in the last 7:15. Jenkins under pressure. Harold Joe almost tied him up for 5 seconds. This time it won't go for the freshman. Roth is stuffed by Nikita Wilson. That follow from Lockhart will not go. And a foul on LSU. Boy, Tennessee had some makeable shots in there and couldn't get them down.
They really did. Roth so many times seems to get his hands on the ball. Now watch. It makes a superb move here. Gets it firmly with 2 hands. Goes back up. He gets it one more time in this series. This is one of the few times it hasn't been the purple jerseys getting 3 and 4 cracks. He comes down again, then eventually loses it on the floor.
Tony White finds room among all the traffic. Kept alive there by Jenkins, and Tony comes away with it. Baseline right over 2 players. I've got him unofficially for 29. A big night either way for Tony White. It's a 4-point game with 6:35 remaining.
The leading scorer in the SEC last year, and he's ahead of his pace.
Over the last 4 games, he's raised his average 7 points. That's hard to do. Look at that move underneath by Oliver Brown, and he got some pretty good service from Anthony Wilson.
15 points off the bench tonight for Dale Brown. Oliver Brown has done it.
He is the story, along with Nikita Wilson. They tried to go cross court. That's a dangerous pass that close to the basket. Luckily for Tennessee, it was tipped away by the Tigers.
And Roth has to come meet it. He's over there waving his arms, especially a cross court diagonal. You've got to come into the lane. Meet that pass.
Roth a little reluctant to put it up, isn't he?
Yep.
He didn't want to shoot over Nikita Wilson and have one in his face again. Nothing shy about Ian Lockhart, the freshman. There's Roth over the back for a 3rd foul. And he's got to be careful now. He has 3. Their other leaper, Dyron Nix, on the bench with 4. And a long way to go in this one. Almost 6 minutes.
Well, he's got to play. He can't worry about fouls now. Quick turnaround. Really didn't have his shoulders squared. Ian Lockhart's going to be a good one. That was just a little too quick on the release. And not good judgment by Roth coming over the back. He's got to, if he's going to be a good offensive rebound, he's got to start to move when the ball leaves the shooter's hands. He kind of waits till it gets on the glass and then has to go over backs. But that's instinct. It's also experience.
Ooh, a costly miss for Oliver Brown on a 1-and-1. That's the quickest way to let somebody back in the game. Got to get those points with the clock not moving.
Soft 2-3 now by the Tigers.
Tony White for Roth. Slapped away. Joe with the steal. Then they got it back from Anthony Wilson. Decides to hold up. And it's back on top. They'll refire the offense. Woodside to Joe. Gets it back. Here's Bernard into the paint. And he just had the elbow out, clearing out the trees as he was sawing his way through. Nice charge taken by Ian Lockhart.
Boy, that was a Bernard King move into the middle. Power with that offhand, fending off the defenders. He's had a big night, Bernard Woodside.
There's the left arm.
Yes, he wanted just about 6 more inches, but good pass rush that time.
Brown squaring up, and Elvin has a 3-pointer. 2 of those for him since halftime. He has 15. I tell you, a battle of the Browns tonight. Elvin for Tennessee with 15. Oliver for LSU with 15.
2 guys we really didn't expect to be scoring stars.
Good ball game. 69-66. 4:50 remaining. It was 45-34. LSU by 11 at the half. Oliver Brown down deep, unable to get there was Anthony Wilson. And we could be looking at a 1-point game, maybe even a tie, as Dale Brown sets up the defense against Don DeVoe's Volunteers.
The Tennessee defense definitely making a difference now. It was lethargic. This crowd's gotten into it a little bit, but basically they've just sucked it up, putting a lot more pressure on. Before it was batting practice defense. LSU running anything it wanted.
Fred Jenkins. Tony White. A lot of experience in that backcourt. They dump it in for Roth. Quickly to the wing. There's a stuff from the hand of Oliver Brown. Now he's doing it defensively as well.
That we knew, but the 15 points, a big plus for the Tigers.
Anthony Wilson. 4 minutes remaining. Important game for the Tigers. They're 0-3 in the conference. And driving hard is Nikita Wilson, drawing Doug Roth's 4th foul. Maybe Dyron Nix will get the call now. He will. Roth will take a seat and Nix will come in.
I think Doug Roth has to begin to think realistically about his talent. There's no way he's going to come over there and make a reject on that play. He's got the size, he's got the bulk, much as the 2 players in the back line for Georgia, Kessler and Dunn, at 6'8" and 6'9". They slide across, they draw the charge. Roth getting up in the air, trying to win an aerial battle with most of the quick players in this league just isn't going to pay off for him.
The man who sits down is the freshman Ian Lockhart. So Roth stays in with 4 fouls. Nix is in with 4 fouls. Time to load up the big guns and let them go at it underneath.
I think the crowd wanted Lockhart to stay in and Roth to come out, and they
we had a few boos, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Nikita Wilson now has 21. By the way, Nikita is over 1,000 points for his career now. He needed 21 going in. LSU 71, Tennessee 66. We're headed for a good finish with 3:58 remaining in Knoxville. All right, we'll follow them right to Tuscaloosa a week from this evening, 9 p.m. Eastern. It'll be LSU and Alabama. Derek McKee and the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's one of the top big men in the SEC, and they're coming off a big win over Kentucky.
Look at the Tigers, 56% on the road, virtually without a Jose Vargas, and certainly without Fess Irvin. It has been an interesting cast of characters out here tonight, and they have played extremely well.
Tennessee's really cut down those turnovers, 11 in the first half.
And their defense has created a few here in the second half.
LSU had 9 at the half, so they've gone doubles on those. 3:58 remaining. Tennessee with the ball, trailing by 5. This one's still very much anyone's ball game, but it's been a long time since Tennessee had the lead, and that's kind of a psychological thing to deal with. Momentum is one thing, but getting over that hump is another.
And LSU very confident. They have yet to lose when they had the lead at half.
Tony White. Rebound. He can't get either of them. Roth skying. Finally, Anthony Wilson pulls it down for the Tigers.
Tennessee getting good cracks at it now. Boy, their defense has improved 100%. The Volunteers are getting after them pretty good.
Oliver Brown after a pass from Woodside. Bernard wants to reach that 16-foot area. That one's way too hard from Anthony Wilson. Woodside stripped it away, and we had a traveling call.
Again, the ball off Roth's hands. If you're trying to steal signals from Dale Brown, the freak is when he crosses his arms. That's unless he has changed his signals. I didn't see him go to the cap or the letters or the...
He'd make a great third base coach somewhere, wouldn't he?
He's something.
There's a stop by Wilson. Uh-oh, big trouble here. Anthony Wilson gets it after Nikita Wilson made the play, and we have an injured player on the floor in Elvin Brown.
He's holding his left hand.
22 points for Anthony Wilson, but credit Nikita with the play. Hopefully Elvin's okay. He's had a good night with 15 points.
Training Mike Rollo with him. It's that left hand and wrist. 44, Elvin Brown almost has possession. He really doesn't have the handle on it, then loses his balance.
It looked like he slapped it down, and then his wrist kind of collapsed under him. Luckily, though, he had his hand flat on the floor. If you have the top of your hand on the floor, that's when you break your wrist. Don't think he did that, but he evidently has some kind of sprain. And back in is Mark Griffin, who's made a couple of appearances. No points, 1 foul for the 6'8" sophomore from Tennessee's Union City.
He's a tough cookie, though. Last year he played every position but point guard. He's a banger. Limited talent, but usually makes good things happen for you.
Tony White from Jenkins. They're really boxing him, doubling up on him. Tony, ever so quick, draws the foul.
It is really interesting. He has found most success getting the ball along the baseline, and he's a terrific baseline shooter for a guard. Most guards don't like to get down in there. Obviously played a lot of forward in high school with his jumping ability.
Tennessee shooting 71% from the line. One of the reasons the percentage is in that area, Tony White came in shooting 88%.
And he puts pressure on you. He goes to the line, takes it right to you. With great quickness, incredible body control. As we've already pointed out, he doesn't need to have his shoulders square. Has that capacity for getting off the good release.
Tonight's the 37th straight in 10 or more. He has 30.
Talking about
5-point game. But
his leaping ability, he had 10 rebounds the night he had 49 points. That's pretty good for a guard. Wow. That's pretty good for anybody.
6'2", 170, the senior from Charlotte. Independence High School is where he got started.
LSU's front court is having to come to the back court now because Tennessee's pressure has improved that much.
Woodside with an offensive foul. He was out of control going down the paint, and Doug Roth got in front of him.
And that's the play he needs to make. He needs to forget about rejects. This time, this is the same play that Woodside got in trouble before. This time, he's a little out of control. He sees Roth and says, I can go over him. This time, Roth says, no, I'm not going for the reject. You're out of control. I'm taking it. Smart play, Doug Roth.
Dale Brown spends his second time out here in the second half. 2:16 remaining. Tennessee with the ball, down by 5. Yes, the sights and sounds of Knoxville. Tennessee at home trailing by 5. 2:16 remaining. Bob Carpenter, Bucky Waters. Hope you've enjoyed this one so far. It's our second SEC telecast of the season. We had Georgia upsetting Kentucky and Louisville. We'll have LSU at Alabama next week after we visit with you from the Oklahoma City Myriad on Monday night. And it appears with the wrist injury, Elvin Brown is okay and he will return.
Tennessee, a 34% three-point team with White being 34% and taking most of the shots, virtually all of them.
Elvin Brown, they give him a quick touch on the ball there. Back out to Jenkins. Tony White's on the left side, the off guard. He's got it. As we pass the 2-minute mark, he got open because of his quickness. Couldn't hit it. Roth keeps it alive, and White still has it. In for Dyron Nix. One dribble, double pump. Roth tips it in. Big basket for Doug Roth. He has 9. It's a 3-point game with 1:40 remaining.
And full pressure. Darryl Joe now the point guard with super quick Tony White on him.
Oliver Brown against Nix. Stands around him. Gets a basket. Both players with 4 fouls couldn't go after him. Oliver Brown has 17 off the bench tonight. What a game for him. 1:15 left. It's a 5-point contest again. Tennessee can't be too patient here. Elvin Brown short. Rebound Nix. Yes. Boy, they're doing a job on the offensive boards. He has 8. It's 75-72. 1 minute and counting.
All of a sudden, Tennessee's exploded on the board. Nix, Roth doing a superb job on that offensive board.
LSU can't afford to miss, and Roth fouls out by getting Nikita Wilson from behind.
Well, a choice now for Don DeVoe. That is indeed 5, is to come back with Mark Griffin or go back to the freshman, Ian Lockhart. That's what he gets paid those big bucks for. Next in town for the Vols, the Wildcats of Kentucky on Saturday, and Don DeVoe is 9-8 against the Wildcats. Let's watch this foul now. Roth, who's been playing very smart, very aggressive, loses the quickness battle here. Nikita, as usual, turning right.
So Tennessee calls a timeout now with 49 seconds remaining, down by 3. They've got to hope Nikita Wilson will miss one and give them a shot at the other end to get this thing tied, or at least get to within a point.
Jack Fertig, who scouted LSU, is holding court now. This is his baby. He's supposed to be the man with all the answers on the Tigers.
Well, tomorrow afternoon, USA Sports presents special third-round coverage of the Money Tournament of Champions from La Costa in Carlsbad, California. Ray Floyd, Greg Norman, and Fuzzy Zeller all scheduled to appear. The Money Tournament of Champions tomorrow live at 4 p.m. on the East Coast, with same-day coverage on the West Coast, also repeated at 11 p.m. on both the East and West Coasts. The Money Tournament of Champions of the '87 PGA season. Coming up later this year on USA, you'll see the TPC from Jacksonville. 2-round coverage of the Masters from Augusta, the Heritage Classic, also the Kemper Open and the World Series of Golf on USA. And hello to you, Knoxville. The Volunteers down by 3 with 49 seconds remaining. LSU looking for its first SEC win. They're 0-1 at home, losing to Vanderbilt. They've lost at Florida and at Ole Miss. Overall away this year with a record of 3-3. 8-5. Tennessee is 7-3, 5-1 at home.
Fess Urban, the fine point guard for LSU, began to have his confidence unravel at Florida. Moten and the full court Gator pressure just really beat on him all night, and it didn't get any better at Oxford against Ole Miss. But this has to be a different team we're seeing here tonight on the road for LSU than the two that performed in Gainesville and Oxford.
Nikita Wilson has 22.
Doesn't look good, but he nails it.
He now has his new season high. I've got him for 23 points tonight. He is well over the 1,000-point barrier. And it's 77-72 with 40 seconds remaining. They're looking for Tony White, but a great job of coverage by Anthony Wilson. From outside, missing badly, Elvin Brown. Line drive, a three-pointer for Jenkins, and Tennessee immediately calls timeout. A big shot by the senior, Fred Jenkins.
That's why it's a good rule. 33 seconds to go. Now it's a 2-point game. Fred Jenkins has been missing some really easy shots. Elvin Brown launches one from way out. He catches iron very solid. It goes all the way out. Now that's not 19 feet 9 inches. That's about where the line should be, and he didn't get anything but cotton.
Okay, a minute ago we told you about golf. More basketball next week. Monday night, the Marriott in Oklahoma City. The Sooners playing a home game there, about 20 miles from Norman. They'll take on the Tigers of LSU. Hoping you can join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday evening. And then USA continues things on Tuesday for the Southwest Conference. The Aggies of A&M home to take on the Longhorns of Texas. Texas is playing at Arkansas this evening. That'll be live Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll get a look at some of the best from the SEC, the Big 8, and the Southwest Conference Monday and Tuesday night on USA.
I'm sure Billy Tubbs is sitting out there and Norman watching this game, getting ready for the Tigers. And I got to guarantee you there's going to be a well-rested Jose Vargas ready to get to Oklahoma City on Monday.
We want to correct one thing. The tip-off for you and I, Bucky, is 8 o'clock in Norman, but that's Central Time. So if you're keeping track with us, Eastern Time, that'll be a 9 p.m. tip-off on Monday evening for the Sooners and the Tigers.
Don DeVoe is feeling much better now. He's got some color. A little green in the first half, and it was more than a flu bug. He had a bad dose of LSU Tigers in a superb road performance. Staying with Darryl Joe. Whoa, what an adventure that was.
Jenkins almost got a touch. 24 seconds remaining and counting. Anthony Wilson. Darryl Joe, there's the foul. Tony White, number 4.
Anthony Wilson, 69% free throw shooter, but a senior, and who's had a big night.
At the line is Anthony Wilson. They didn't want to put Nikita Wilson up there. Anthony Wilson shooting 69% from the stripe coming in. He has 22 this evening. And they're doing the job from the line, aren't they?
Under pressure. If he makes this one, it takes it out of the range of a three-point shot to tie.
Too strong with it, but Nikita has the rebound. Can't get it down. Dyron Nix keeps it alive.
And the right man has the ball.
10 seconds. Tony White, no foul. There is a foul on Jenkins. Tony White was stripped of the ball on the way up. Don DeVoe can't believe a foul was not called.
Darryl Joe made the only move he could. Even if it was a foul, it might have been a good foul because Tony White was in his range and ready to launch it. Even sending him to the line for 2 might not have been a bad move.
6 seconds remaining. Don DeVoe wants timeout. He also wants to take this timeout to talk to the officials. We'll take a final timeout here in regulation. LSU 78-75, trying to win that first one in the conference. Wheels looking bleak for Tennessee. Only 6 seconds remaining with the miss. There is time for the three-pointer.
It's got to come off the rim just right, and they got to find somebody quickly up the floor. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they release Tony White, put him up here around midcourt, just in case there is a miss. They can get up there quickly to him, and he can operate.
And it is 1-and-1 for Darryl Joe. That will do it. LSU doesn't even have to inbound the basketball, even if they get the three-pointer at the other end.
They should take those men off the lane. No good can come of LSU having people down in the lane except a bump and a foul.
Darryl Joe doesn't get the roll that time. 4-point deficit. Dyron Nix for Tony. Check it. It's number 44 with the buzzer. Elvin Brown at the end. And it's a 1-point LSU win, 79-78. Well, the Tigers needed a win, Bucky, and they played awfully well. They played more consistently than Tennessee did here tonight.
They were indeed consistent. Dale Brown was cool and calm coming in here. 6 games on the road, and they just performed beautifully. He made a substitution. Darryl Joe to the point guard spot, sitting down Fess Urban, and of course he had no patience at all with Jose Vargas, who didn't give it to him, so he sat.
LSU now with an overall record of 9-5 on the year. It's their 4th road win of the year and their first in the SEC. They are now 1-3 in conference play. And the Tennessee Volunteers now with a record of 7-4. We'll take a quick timeout and be back to wrap things up from Tennessee in just a moment as the Tigers win it by 1 on the road. Tigers get a big win on the road tonight here in Knoxville. They beat the Volunteers of Tennessee by a score of 79-78. Tonight's SEC game here on USA Sports was brought to you by Toyota. Looking out for you has made Toyota #1 in compact truck sales. and by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? I'd like to thank those folks for providing us footage in the ball game this evening. For Bucky Waters, Bob Carpenter saying so long from Knoxville. This has been a presentation of USA Sports.
It's Tiger time on USA.